Hello, folks. This month we are going to talk about email encryption. Encryption is the process of encoding information so that only authorized parties can read the information. Encryption is a major part of how our data and applications are kept secure on the internet. Let's review a few encryption concepts. Okay, looking at this slide here, we see that we have two pieces of information. We have what's called the plain text, which is the message that we'd like to send, and it's considered plain text because you can clearly see it. And our example of plain text here is secret message to hide. Okay, we then encrypt the plain text using an encryption key. And remember, a key is just how you're going to unlock the what that encrypted text is. Okay, so when you encrypt your message, you produce what's called ciphertext, and that ciphertext is indecipherable unless you possess the key, and the encryption key allows you to decipher the text. Okay, last month we talked about encryption of transactions that were in transit. And what we meant by that were transactions that we were sending across the internet. This month, we are going to talk about encryption of data that is at rest. Now, to review encryption for data in transit, let's look at the following slide. Okay, so we see here data that's encrypted in transit. We were doing that on the internet, and remember, we were making sure that we always used a website that had HTTPS, where the S stands for secure. And basically we had on our computer, which is our local computer that we're using, we had unencrypted information on our system. We then, by using the website, this data was encrypted and it was sent over to the server. Now, when the data reaches the server system, the data is then unencrypted, and the unencrypted data is then left on the server, okay, in unencrypted format, and that's key. Now, at this point, your data is then said to be data at rest, okay? Now, note, when your data is at rest on the server here, it's in an unencrypted format. That means if someone hacks into the server or accesses the server, they can read that confidential information. And we probably do not want that data sitting on the server to be unencrypted. We may only want the person that the email is being sent to actually see the contents of the email, okay? I mean, consider the following analogy. You send a conventional letter to your bank with account information in it. If the person it was sent to opens the letter and leaves it on their desk, that letter can be read by anyone. It's not very secure. Okay, so this month we are going to talk about data at rest. Okay, now this type of encryption may also be called end-to-end encryption. This name implies that the data is encrypted right up until the targeted recipient accesses the information. Okay, so now looking at this slide here, if on our computer we have encrypted email on our system, and we have encrypted it on our system, we then send this email over to another system via an email server, and our encrypted information actually gets encrypted a second time because it's encrypted in transit. Now, when the email arrives on the server system, the encryption in transit is removed, but we still have our messages encrypted. So now our encrypted email remains on the server, and the email is encrypted, so nobody can read it. Now, the need to encrypt email is increasingly important in business, government, and everyday life. Confidential medical, financial data, security, state secrets cannot remain on servers for anyone to see. Over the last several years, companies have been mandated by various government agencies to handle information in a secure manner. Securely handling of information implies using encryptions. Now, there's numerous options for encrypting email. I'm going to demonstrate two approaches to introduce the concept to you. Okay, the first demonstration, I'm going to use a very simple email system, and I'm going to use Gmail here. Now, I'm using here, I've installed in Gmail a Google extension which can be installed through your browser called Secure Streak Email. And you'll notice here on my email system I have a lock, okay? So now if I press this lock to compose a message, you'll notice here a window comes up and it says new message secured. Well, I'm going to now send myself a message just for demonstration purposes. Okay, and for the subject line I'm going to put in test of sending encrypted email on Gmail. Okay, and I'll put some text in here. This is the tech talk on email encryption. Okay, so I'm now going to send encrypted. Now, as I send encrypted, it's asking me for an encryption password. If you remember, I said that to decode messages, you need the key. Well, now I have to assign an encryption password or a key for this message. So my encryption password is going to be Robin, R-O-B-I-N. And you'll notice that that is not echoed back. And my password hint is going to be my favorite bird. Now, I'm going to say encrypt and send. Okay, so here I am at Google waiting for this message to be delivered to me. And here it is. And you'll notice here the email message does not make a lot of sense. In fact, it makes absolutely no sense. And that's because the message that we're seeing now is the ciphertext. We are not seeing the plain text. Okay, so the person receiving this mail, which happens to be me, but it could have been anyone using Gmail, okay, now has to decrypt this message. So I'm going to press this decrypt message with password, and it's going to say, okay, what's the decryption password? Well, if the person needs a hint, they'll get the hint, my favorite bird, and they'll say Robin. Okay, and then we'll decrypt. Now, you'll now see that the message that was in ciphertext format before is now displayed in plain text format. This is the tech talk on email encryption. Okay, and that simply demonstrates sending email in an encrypted format and decrypting it. Now, some attributes of this Gmail model. Number one, this solution only works for Gmail, so that's a little limiting. This means the sender and the receiver must have Gmail accounts. Okay, so if someone had a Yahoo account, they couldn't participate in a secure transaction. This does not encrypt attachments. That's extremely limited. If I wanted to send a secure attachment, which was my last will and testament or my credit card data or something like that, I would want that encrypted. Gmail with this add-on does not encrypt attachments. Another problem, you need a way to securely exchange the encryption key. Now, for a close friend or family member, they may know that my favorite bird is a robin, but for someone in business, they may not know that. So how would I communicate that secret to them? Okay. And finally, each message that I send encrypted requires assigning and exchanging a separate encryption key or shared secret. So this model clearly has some limitations, but it demonstrates the concepts and gives you something to play around with. Okay, The second example I'm going to show you involves a website that is used as an intermediate agent. Now, there are several encryption services that work like this. These services claim to use military quality encryption. And truth be known, military level encryption is what most reasonable implementations of encryption makes use of. Okay, the website that I am demonstrating is named Send Inc. And we're going to look at that website. And what you can do is, it works like this. Users get accounts at the websites. You go to the URL, which we'll display for you, and you can sign up for basic service for free. Okay, that's $0 for free. More advanced services are available for a fee. Users that are going to send or receive email need to sign up for an account. So you simply go to the website, follow the simple instructions for sign up. Okay, now when you want to send a secure email, you log into the agent, and here I am in the Send Inc. agent, and I'm going to log in, which I'm already in, and I'm going to say new message. Okay, so now I'm going to send a message, and through this website I have associated my Gmail account, you can see here, and now I'm going to send this to my Hotmail account. Okay, and the subject that I'm going to put here is test of Send Inc. email from Gmail to Hotmail. Okay, and then I'm going to say here for the secure message, I'm going to put in tech talk on email encryption. Okay. Now, I could send an attachment here, which would be encrypted. In fact, I'll do that. I'll send rock types, a document that I wrote. That's an attachment. I could send myself a copy, or I could also send myself a notification when the recipient actually reads the message. So now I'm going to send secure message. Okay, so the website now informs me that this message was submitted successfully. I'm now going to go to my Hotmail or Outlook account. It's since been renamed. And I'm going to read my email. Okay, and here we see an email sent here. And you'll see that the subject says test of Send Inc. email from Gmail to Hotmail. So that was the subject that we put in. And I'm going to view the secure message. So now when I view the secure message, there's the message that I sent. And I sent it from Gmail to my Hotmail account. Test of Send Inc. email from Gmail to Hotmail. And there's the attachment, rock types. So the attributes of the Send Inc. model are the encrypted email and attachments are sent through the Send Inc. agent. Okay? Number two, this does encrypt attachments, okay? And that's huge. That's a huge feature, okay? Senders and receivers of the encrypted email need to get Send Inc. accounts, and it's a very simple 3 or 4 step process. Encryption keys are not shared since they are held by the Send Inc. agent, okay? So when you're assigning your password, make sure you provide a strong password, okay? And that's the final point. Security is based on the strength of the account passwords. So remember, there are numerous types of email encryption systems. Some are built into the email systems, others are third-party systems that are referenced from existing email systems and a web browser. I've demonstrated 2 basic types. There are many more systems to choose from. To familiarize yourself with email encryption and some of the concepts we covered today, I recommend experimenting with the two services I demonstrated here. There are also numerous other systems that offer free services or trial services. This will allow you to wrap your head around the concepts. Encryption can be complex, but it is central to a secure computing environment. If you care about securing your information, you need to get familiar with encryption. That's all for this month. You have a lot of new information to ponder, some new terms to look up. Practice, 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 and we'll see you next month.